When I married David, I never imagined how drastically my life would change. I was a widow when we met, raising my only son, Ethan, who was already in college by then. David had his own son, Ryan, who was just turning 20. Ryan had been living with his mother most of his life, but when David and I got married, Ryan started spending more time at our home. At first, it was awkward, as most blended families are. But I wanted to make things work. Ryan wasn't a bad kid. He was quiet, reserved, and carried the kind of heaviness in his eyes that told me life hadn't been particularly kind to him. His mother and David had divorced when he was still young, and though she had custody, she wasn't exactly the nurturing type. I could see how Ryan longed for stability, and I wanted to give him that, even if I wasn't his biological mother. At first, we were cordial. He would eat meals with us, sometimes retreat to his room, and occasionally join his father and me for movie nights. I didn't press him for conversations, but slowly, he started opening up. He told me about his struggles in college, about the friends he had lost touch with, and the relationships that never seemed to work out. I listened, not as his stepmother, but as someone who genuinely cared. Over time, I started seeing Ryan differently. Not in an inappropriate way, but in a way where I recognized his vulnerability. He wasn't just David's son. He was a young man trying to find his place in the world, and I was often the only one he confided in. That's where everything began. It was a late evening in October. David had been working longer hours, and I often found myself at home alone with Ryan. That night, after making dinner, I noticed Ryan hadn't come down to eat. His door was closed, but there was a faint light peeking from beneath it. Normally, I would have just left him be, but something in me, maybe that motherly instinct, told me to check on him. I knocked softly. "Ryan, dinner's ready." There was silence at first, then a muffled voice. "I'm not really hungry, thanks." I hesitated. He sounded off. I turned the doorknob slowly, peeking inside. And that was when I saw something that would change everything. Ryan was sitting on the edge of his bed, his face buried in his hands, shoulders shaking. He wasn't ignoring me, he was crying. My heart clenched. I had never seen him like that. Carefully, I stepped inside and closed the door behind me. "Ryan," I said softly, "what's wrong?" He lifted his head, his eyes red and puffy. For a moment, he looked at me like he wanted to deny it, to wave me off, but then the walls crumbled. I don't know what I'm doing anymore," he admitted. I sat beside him, keeping just enough space between us, so he wouldn't feel pressured. "Talk to me. What happened?" That was when the truth spilled out. Ryan confessed how he felt abandoned, not just by his mother, but in some ways by David too. His father loved him, but work had always taken priority. Ryan had always been on the sidelines, watching other kids get attention he never received. And now, at 20, he felt lost. "I see you and Dad together, and you look happy," he said, his voice trembling. "And I've never had that. Not once in my life. Every relationship I try to have falls apart, and I feel like I'm just invisible." His words pierced me. I reached for his hand gently. "You're not invisible, Ryan. Not to me. Not to your father. You matter more than you realize." His grip tightened. His eyes met mine, searching for something, comfort, assurance, maybe even love. I held his gaze, trying to pour sincerity into every word. "You are worthy of love. Don't ever think otherwise." The air between us grew heavy. There was something unspoken lingering, something I couldn't quite name yet. But I felt it. He did too. And that scared me. I stood quickly, trying to break the tension. "Come downstairs. Eat something. You'll feel better." He nodded slowly, wiping his eyes, and followed me down. That night, we didn't say much during dinner. But the silence wasn't empty. It was charged. And I couldn't stop thinking about the look in his eyes. In the days that followed, things shifted between us. Ryan sought me out more often. He'd linger in the kitchen while I cooked, offering to help. He'd sit with me in the living room, sometimes talking, sometimes just being there. David remained busy, often coming home late, leaving Ryan and me in this strange rhythm that felt like ours alone. I told myself it was innocent, that I was just filling the role of someone Ryan desperately needed. But deep inside, I knew there was something else forming, something I shouldn't acknowledge. Then came the night everything crossed a line. David had been called out of town for work, leaving just Ryan and me in the house. It was raining heavily, the kind of night where the storm rattles the windows and makes you crave company. I was curled up on the couch with a blanket when Ryan came downstairs. "Mind if I join?" he asked. "Of course not," I said, scooting over. He sat closer than usual. We watched the rain for a while before he spoke. "You know, I don't think I've ever told you this, but you're the only one who's ever really listened to me." I turned to him, my chest tightening. "Ryan." "No, let me finish," he interrupted gently. "You make me feel like I matter, like I'm not just some kid people forget about. And I don't know what I'd do without you." His words struck me deeper than I expected. Before I could respond, he leaned closer, just slightly. I froze, torn between the roles I was supposed to play and the emotions I couldn't deny were rising in me. That was when I realized this wasn't just about comfort anymore. It was about something forbidden, something dangerous, yet something neither of us could completely resist. And in that moment, I understood that the path we were standing on could change all of our lives forever.